also gets out my shopping need, if that makes sense, because this girl has still gotta shop. Hi everyone, Saki here and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to do something I've never done before and actually give you guys tips on how to stop shopping. Yes, I know this is so random and weird for my channel because my channel is mainly about shopping, but if you guys watched last week's video, you'll know that I was actually in LA over the past weekend for my bachelorette party trip, and oh my god, I spent so much money there. And plus, now that the bachelorette party is over, it's really like the final stretch to the wedding, so I figure I gotta save a ton of money. So I thought today would be a great time to share with you guys some money saving tips in case you are in the same position as me and also need a little bit of help. By the way, if I seem a little bit weird in this video, I am just going through a little bit of like post vacation depression, I guess. We had so much freaking fun in LA. We did a bunch of things. We went to Disneyland, we ate some great food, and then we also went to karaoke, so it's really hard being back, and I had to literally force myself to get up to film this video, so yeah, I hope that it goes okay. But anyways, if you're interested in this video, please continue to watch, and if you have never seen me before, hello, my name is Saki. I upload videos every single week about cute and luxury fashion, so if you're interested in any of those things, please consider subscribing to my channel because I think you'll really like it here. So without further ado, let's get started. So I wanted to mention one quick thing. I haven't seen like a lot of videos like this out there. One of the most popular ones I've seen is actually from Isabelle's style. So I watched her video a really long time ago and it kind of inspired me to do this one. And I'm going to be covering some tips that are a little bit different from hers, but I encourage you, if you are looking for a way to stop shopping, for you to watch her video because it is really awesome. She has some great tips. So yeah, we're not collabing or anything, but I will link that video for you down below in case you are truly looking for some ways to stop shopping. So yes, now for my tips. The number one tip that actually helps me is to forget all about the term ban island. So this is definitely a term that we use in the luxury community, and that is when you are forcing yourself to stop shopping, you go on ban island, which means you cannot buy anything at all, and this literally makes me crazy. Like, I cannot tell myself that I'm on ban island. I think it's like that inner nature in me where if like I'm banned from something or like I can't do something, it makes me want to do it even more. So the more that I try to put myself on ban island, the more it like counteracts. So I really can't do that. Ban island to me is like where you cannot shop like at all whatsoever, like big or small. You just kind of go cold turkey and stop. I think it's the same with like any addiction. It is just so hard to go cold turkey. So I try to never tell myself about ban island. What I do instead is obviously cut down on the very big purchases, like no more handbags, but little things that I've been neglecting to buy, I kind of focus on more because they are less expensive, but it also gets out my shopping need, if that makes sense, because this girl has still gotta shop. So let me give you an example of that. So recently I haven't been buying a lot of new bags lately. However, I have been focusing on other parts of my wardrobe that are lacking, especially because we are transitioning into winter. I've noticed that a lot of my stuff, like my sweaters, have gotten really old, and there's just been some stuff that I've need replacing that I've just neglected for a long time because I've been focusing all of my money on handbags. And plus, this is also beneficial because it's actually stuff that you need. So instead of like not spending any money at all, I kind of redirect my money in a different way into other things that I actually need. And because like, you know, sweaters aren't as expensive as my, you know, Chanel handbags or whatever, I still get out that shopping need without even spending like nearly as much as I would on handbags, if that makes sense. So obviously you can't go crazy with this because that totally defeats the whole purpose, but this definitely helps me a lot more than just going cold turkey and going on ban island. So hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, my second tip is actually to have a goal. Now let me explain what I mean. So I usually feel like I'm the type of person who just looks at bags online and then I just fall in love with them, if that makes sense. So I'm not necessarily ever like dreaming of this bag or dreaming of that bag. I just kind of like browse, and once I find one that I like, I buy it. It is so bad now that I think about it, and that's probably why my collection has grown so much like over the past couple of years. It's actually helped me a lot this year in creating a wish list, but now I kind of want to talk about like maybe narrowing the wish list down a lot. So I guess you can think of this in terms of like finding your holy grail or something like that. Just like one thing that you're working towards where where you don't have to buy like little things in between. So for me right now, that is going to be a Chanel Spring 2020 bag. I am trying not to buy anything until that releases. So now that I have something to work towards, it kind of helps me not to buy the little things in between, because I'm like, oh wait, I'm waiting, I'm working towards a goal, and I'm going to wait until next year when that collection comes out. So yeah, I would definitely say like have a goal set in mind. And plus, if you do have a goal, I feel like now instead of just like spending money like here and there on like a wallet here, a purse there, I can actually just put that chunk of money into like a savings or something to put towards my actual goal. And that has definitely been helping me a lot. The next tip is probably obvious and it's probably in everybody's video, but this is truly important, and that is to revisit your old collection and try to fall in love again with the items that you already have. So what I like to do is actually physically touch each and every item, try to use each and every item, incorporating it somehow to some of my different outfits, and really focusing on the stuff that you've been neglecting. Now I know I've been talking about bags this entire time because that is my vice and that is obviously my obsession, but this can apply to anything like shoes, clothes, really anything that you own. But for me, like for bags, I like to try and style the bags that I haven't worn in a while and really figure out why it's in my collection. Sometimes this actually kind of backfires and I realize it's something that I no longer love, but actually that could be beneficial as well, because if you are going through your old collection and finding that there are stuff that you just haven't worn for a long time because you don't love them anymore, maybe try and think about selling those things, because honestly that would be a win-win. If you sell the things that you don't want, you can save that money to work towards your goal or buy something that you do want in the future. But I do think that it is worth the time just to go through every single item in your closet and really figure out if you still love that piece, or maybe try to remember why it's in your collection to begin with. I do this all the time, and I actually do this really regularly to make sure I'm really loving the things that I own. Every time I put an outfit on, I make sure to try multiple bags on to try and rotate each one of my bags, because if I don't do that, I notice that I'm just reaching for the same ones over and over, and I never get to like rotate all my bags because of this. So I highly recommend that you do this. It is probably like the #1 tip that I have, and trust me, it will help so much. Alright, the next thing that I wanted to mention, I'm not sure anybody does this besides me, but I actually like to rearrange my bags in like a list, and it really helps me to figure out the functionality of each bag, and it also helps me to realize that I don't need so many bags. I actually have a video all about this called 10 handbag categories that everybody needs, I believe. It's one that I did a long time ago, so I probably should update it, but I will link it down below for you guys. But basically what I do in that video is name 10 categories of bags that I absolutely need, and it helps me to kind of organize all the things that I have. So just to quickly touch on this list, what I have on there is like crossbody bags, handheld bags, bags for work I think is a category. And once I put all of my bags into these different categories, I realized that like, oh, I already have like 5 crossbody bags, or I already have like 4 work bags. Like I don't need to add anything else in my collection, and it really forces me to think about how I use each bag and why each bag is in my collection. And then after I see a list of everything, I actually don't feel the need to add another bag in my collection, because every time I look at a new bag and I'm like, okay, what is this to my categories, or what is this in my collection, I realize, oh wait, I already have 4 crossbody bags, so I really need another one, or I already have like 3 totes, do I really need another one? So it kind of makes me think a little bit more analytically about my collection, I guess. I don't know, that's just how my brain works, and if that sounds totally weird to you, I'm sorry. But also maybe give it a try if you are someone who thinks like kind of analytically and maybe hasn't thought about that in terms of your collection. Alright, the next thing is something that I've been doing a lot lately, and that is actually finding the root cause of why you're buying this. Now, without getting too like psychological, I've noticed that I actually really like the research part of bags. So I like finding out a history if there is any, and like kind of just doing my research on it, like research on the functionality, watching a lot of YouTube videos, looking at a lot of pictures, and that research part of the bag buying process is just one of the things I love the most, I guess. So I find that I'm spending a lot of my free time or downtime just like researching these bags. And so I was thinking maybe a lot of why I buy bags is because I get bored and just start researching them, and that in turn makes me like have that want to buy something. So instead of doing that, I've actually started researching like different things. Obviously, one of the big things on my mind right now is the wedding, and although doing wedding stuff is really stressful, I've just been doing more and more research on our wedding plans, and actually I've been researching a lot about our honeymoon plans. So in case you haven't watched any of my wedding videos, we are doing our honeymoon in Italy and Spain. So I've been channeling all of that like research energy into researching more about the destinations that we're going to, and that's been helping a lot actually, because I've kind of stopped thinking about shopping because I have something else to focus on, if that makes sense. So if you're the type of person who when you're bored you kind of start shopping and researching shopping, this might help you as well. Maybe if you don't have like any upcoming events, try to research something that you have just been curious about, stuff that makes you interested, just other things that aren't related to shopping. Hopefully that's not harder than it sounds, but I do really think that that would help. Alright, my next tip is all about impulse buying. So I am definitely a victim of this. The number one tip that I would say to avoid this is always just step away and wait at least 1 or 2 days. If I can force myself to walk away and go home and think about it, it usually goes away for me. I don't know why. I think like if you're in a store and you want to impulse buy, it's just like a combination of these feelings of like the sales associate like telling you like how great something is, and you like envisioning yourself with the item, and just stuff like that that kind of gets you caught up in the moment. And the moment that you step away from that, that feeling kind of goes away. And I've noticed that's helped me to save money so many different times. So I definitely recommend that you step away and you kind of wait for that impulse to go down. And I do think that almost instantly after you back off, that impulsive feeling will go away. Alright, and the last tip that I have for you is if all else fails and you do buy something, make sure that it is returnable and don't be afraid to return the item if you do decide to change your mind. Now this can kind of be bad and get out of control, and obviously don't just buy items to return them later, but if you do need to buy something, I would always recommend that there is a return policy in case you change your mind, in case you've made a mistake and you need to return it. So I actually shop a lot on Fashion File because they have a great return policy. It is 30 days. I mean, like I said, I try really hard not to just buy items to return them, but I love to shop on Fashion File knowing that in case I do make a mistake or in case the item really doesn't work out for me, I can just send it back and it's in their policy, so it's okay. As long as you don't use it or remove their tag, they'll happily accept any returns 30 days or less from when you've received it. Obviously, the other stores that have a great return policy are like department stores. Neiman Marcus has one, Nordstrom has one. However, I'm not sure on the exact return policies for any boutiques. I actually think Louis Vuitton's is 2 weeks, but I can't remember Chanel's. So do your research on that and make sure you are thinking really hard about the items that you do buy. And please don't be afraid to admit to yourself if you have made a mistake and you need to return something, because sometimes that happens and it's perfectly okay. That is why stores have return policies to begin with. So alright, that's all that I can think of, and I hope that those tips helped you. I've tried to cover tips that people specifically have not talked about yet, so I hope that you found this video useful, and good luck to you if you are trying to save money and if you are in the same position as me where you gotta just to think about these things and try and stop shopping. It's an addiction for me, so it is very hard, but I'm gonna try my best to follow my own tips. If you like this video and if you found it useful, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do upload videos every single week. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!